In the year 2004, in Columbia, South Carolina, a 15-year-old teenage girl, Silene Erica Eaddy, was deeply affected when her adopted father, Fred Eaddy, suddenly died of a heart attack. Later on, she also learned that her parents had actually adopted her. So she was frustrated. She tried to find her biological parents, but she didn't succeed. Her adopted mother, Brenda McCoy, also tried to get information about her biological parent, but she didn't succeed either. In the end, when Erica was growing up, her behaviors completely changed to worse because she wanted her biological family, and she had also been tremendously affected by her adopted father's death. Erica began sneaking out of their house and went to meet a bad group of friends. She also allowed older men to give her free rides. Her adopted mother, Brenda, tried so hard to control her behaviors. She would punish her and ground her. But all of these measures only made Erica to rebel against her. Erica broke all of the house rules that her mother, Brenda, had put in place. She persistently sneaked out of the house through her bedroom window without caring about her adopted mother's warnings and guidance. On the night of 15th April 2004, Erica sneaked out and went to meet her older men and her bad group. Unfortunately, she never returned home again. Erica was severely beaten and burned alive on the night of 17th April 2004. She died a painful death at the hands of the unknown group of bad people she associated herself with. Who killed Erica, and why did they kill her? This is the story of Silene Erica Eaddy. Silene Erica Eaddy was born on August 14th, 1988. She was placed into the foster care system when she was a baby, and when she was 3 years old, she was adopted by a man named Fred Eaddy and his wife, Brenda McCoy. Brenda worked at social services, so she also adopted a boy named Eugene and a little girl named Destiny. The family lived in a quiet neighborhood of Fountain Lake Road, home in Columbia, South Carolina. Silene, who was mostly called Erica, was very close to her adopted father, Fred Eaddy. Unfortunately, when she was still young, her adopted father suddenly died of a heart attack. Fred's sudden death hit Erica very hard. She was never the same again. Her behaviors became too hard to deal with, but her adopted mother, Brenda, tried very much to keep her on track. After her middle school, she joined Dreher High School in the year 2004. At school, she was a member of the dance team and the ROTC. Erica really loved dancing and singing. In fact, she was part of the community gospel choir. Unfortunately, while in high school, she had a confrontation with her fellow student, so she said angry and offensive words to her. In the end, Erica was expelled at Dreher High School. Her adopted mother, Brenda, took her to another school known as Alston Wilkes Youth Services School in February 2004 so that she can continue with her education. She wanted to be an artist or a hairstylist when she grows up. As Erica entered deep into teenage life, she had discovered that Brenda and Fred were actually not her biological parents. Rather, they were her adopted parents. She wanted to know who her biological parents were and how to find them. Her adopted mother, Brenda, didn't know where she could find Erica's biological parents. She tried to get information about them, but she got none. She even had no idea whether they were still alive or dead. Brenda, who worked at the social services, and her now late husband, Fred, had only adopted Erica when she was young. So Erica's desire to find her biological parents added confusion and frustrations in her life. Also, the death of her adopted father, Fred, had a tremendous negative effect on her life. Her behaviors changed badly. Soon, she started sneaking out of their house and hanging out with a wrong crowd. She was roaming out at night in the neighborhood, and soon older men started giving her free rides. Erica accepted those free rides from strangers. Soon it became a routine for her to sneak out of the house to meet strange men and the wrong group, whom she called her friends. She became a very rebellious child, and she broke the house rules that her adopted mother, Brenda, had put in place. Her mother had a really hard time dealing with her. Sometimes she would sneak out for a few days, only for her to return home late. During one of those sneakings, she failed to return back home sooner, so her mother was worried. She went to the police station and made a missing persons report. Erica, however, later returned back home after her mother had made the missing persons report. Her mother was relieved when she returned back safe, so she never bothered to inform the police that Erica had returned. This meant that the missing persons report was still active at the police station. Brenda would punish her daughter Erica for her bad behaviors. She often ground her, but still Erica would sneak out of the house through her bedroom window and went to meet her older men and the wrong group of friends. On Thursday evening of April 15th, 2004, Erica sneaked out of their house at around 7:30 p.m. She headed towards her neighbor's house around the corner. One of the neighbors saw her and called her mother, Brenda, and informed her about her daughter's whereabouts. So Brenda quickly rushed out of the house and got Erica before she could go away. She talked to her and asked her where she was going. However, Erica refused to tell her where she was going. She just left her mother there and went away. Unfortunately, she never returned home. She was severely beaten by the unknown people whom she had been meeting with on the night of 17th April 2004. They drove her to southern Richland County in a wooded area near Montgomery Lane and Pincushion Road, just off Highway 378, on some abandoned railroad tracks on the outskirts of Columbia. They got her out of the car and burned her alive before speeding away from the crime scene. Meanwhile, back at home, when Erica was nowhere to be seen, the family was not worried because she used to sneak out of the house and come back home later. However, when Erica didn't come back home the second night, Brenda started to get worried. By now, the whole family was worried about her whereabouts. However, she did not call police since there was already an active missing persons report alert at the police station. On the 17th April 2004, which was on a Saturday at around 5 a.m., a person driving on the outskirts of the town noticed a small brush fire at southern Richland County in a wooded area near Montgomery Lane and Pincushion Road, just off Highway 378, on some abandoned railroad tracks on the outskirts of Columbia. So the driver called firefighters from Columbia-Richland County Fire Department. The firefighters arrived in no time, and while they were extinguishing the fire, they discovered that in the fire lay a body of a teenage girl. The body laid facial down in a ditch with the left arm outstretched. The victim had a necklace with a charm of a shoe around her neck. She had no ID with her. So the firefighters immediately called the police. Soon the police arrived at the scene. As they were investigating the crime scene, they discovered that there were tire tracks at the scene. They sent the body for an autopsy. When the autopsy results came back, the examiner had discovered that there were presence of soot in the victim's lungs, which meant that she was still alive when she was set on fire. Also, the examiner discovered that the victim had been severely beaten before being burned alive. The examiner used dental records to identify the victim. The victim was identified as a 15-year-old Silene Erica Eaddy. The police already had Erica's information on record because of a previous missing persons report which had been filed by her mother. So they pulled the missing person report and they came across Erica's case. So they called her mother Brenda and informed her that they had found a body that might be of her daughter Erica. They then asked her to come to the medical examiner's office to identify some of the belongings they found on the body. When Brenda came in, she was shown a necklace that police had discovered, and when she saw the necklace, she knew it was Erica they had found because she always wore that necklace every day. Brenda was so devastated to discover that her daughter had been murdered. Police then contacted the media with Erica's picture in hopes of piecing together her 34 hours movements and activities before she was found in the wooded area. Unfortunately, they didn't find any information that could help them in tracing her last movements. There were no witnesses or surveillance footage to help in getting a lead in Erica's murder. On Friday, April 23, 2004, a memorial service was held for Erica. Her body was then cremated, and her mother, Brenda, kept her ashes. In August 2005, Erica's case was turned over to the Richland County Cold Case Unit. The police used playing cards to assist in solving the murder of Erica. Playing cards are decks of cards designed to raise awareness about cold cases and aid in generating leads for law enforcement investigations. Each card in the deck typically features a photograph and important information about a missing person or an unsolved homicide victim. These decks are then distributed to inmates and correctional facilities, as well as to the general public through various channels, such as community events, law enforcement agencies, and online platforms. The idea is to keep the cases in the public eye and potentially trigger memories or prompt someone with information to come forward. By incorporating these cases into a familiar format, like playing cards, authorities hope to engage a wider audience and increase the likelihood of someone coming forward with crucial tips or information that could lead to resolving the case. So they placed Erica's name, pictures, and information on the playing cards, and they distributed the cards to inmates across the state. Unfortunately, even after doing this, the investigators still could not find any leads in capturing Erica's killers. In the months that followed, the police went door to door. They checked driver's licenses at various checkpoints. They also worked alongside various local churches to try and find out what had happened to Erica. Unfortunately, they could not find any lead to follow in Erica's murder. Later on in the year 2007, when it was Erica's 18th birthday, her mother, Brenda, took her ashes, which she had kept all those years, and buried them next to her husband's grave. The police didn't arrest anybody in connection to Erica's murder, and sadly, on April 30th, 2020, Brenda McCoy, who was 68 years old by then, died at Providence Hospital without knowing who killed her daughter, Erica. Until today, no one has been arrested in connection to Erica's murder, and the case is still open. Will Silene Erica Eaddy ever receive justice for her untimely death? May her soul rest in peace.